Hi everyone, this is Maddie coming to you for the Human Resource Frame assignment, Module 7, our last of this course. So a brief overview of the Human Resource Frame from Bullman and Dell, according to Bullman and Deal, I guess. So they really view the organization as a family. So rather than it just being something that people do outside, they view it more like a family structure. Their focus is on teamwork, skills, attitudes, and the communications between the people. They make sure that organizations match up with the needs of the members involved. So instead of just making goals for the organization, they try and match those up with what do the members that work for us or that belong to this need, and how can we make that goal compatible with it. And they really focus on the fact that the organization only exists because of human needs. Therefore, it has to be serving the humans that it fosters. Otherwise, there's no purpose for it. Also, in order to be successful, the people who work for or are in the organization have to be a good fit, and vice versa. So it can't just be that the people like the organization. The organization also has to be meeting their needs in order for it and them to be a success. I kind of liked this idea because this is kind of how I would like, as a principal or a leader, I would like to kind of view my organization, which would be the school, as more of this than I would just as, it's a school and this is what we're set out to do and that's what we're going to do. This is more viewing it as a whole and really caring about the people, which is, as teachers, what we should always do. Okay, so this is my structure that I created under my leadership. So you can see I've listed from top to bottom. I separated into 4 columns, but I really did put them in order from like 1 all the way to the bottom. So I think the principal comes first, students, teachers, and parents next, then the office staff, custodians, paras, and cooks, and finally the community, maintenance personnel, and alumni. And so here are some of my reasonings behind that. I think that the principal comes first just because without any leadership, I've found that organizations have a really hard time to be successful. So if there's no sort of somebody taking charge or a group that's working together to kind of lead the organization, then it often, when there are too many leaders, it just can't be successful, or when there's none, same goes. So everybody just kind of needs to know who to look for rules and expectations. Also, I've noticed that teachers and students really need structure, and the principal is usually the one that is setting forth that structure. So that's why I would put the principal first. Next would be the students, teachers, and parents. I really view the students, teachers, and parents as one big kind of, community. We all work together every day. I always tell the parents at the beginning of the year that I view us as a team, and that without them, I can't, it's hard to help their students be as successful as they could be without their support and guidance, because they are the ones that know their kids the best. I think that although the parents aren't, they're not there with us every day at school, they're just as important because they're reinforcing those things that we're teaching at school, at home, and they also play a part of how the kids act and everything when they come to school. Also, the students are obviously super important because that's the entire reason that we have jobs and that we do what we do. So that's why I think that they would come next. They're definitely, it was hard to decide between principal and then students and teachers, but like I said, I think that there needs to be leadership, and that's why the principal came higher. The next, I view the next people on this list super important. I feel like a lot of people who don't work in a school setting don't realize how integral these people are in the daily lives of the teachers and students at school. They really help to make the school a success, and therefore they came next on my list. My principal, actually, I was just speaking with him a few days ago, and he said a quote that I thought was funny. I don't know that would put himself up at the top if he were doing this. He said, "It's funny because I always have said that if I'm gone for a few days, the school runs without a hitch. But if our secretary or our custodian is gone for a day, it's a mess. And so I agree with him in some aspects that if the custodian is not there or the secretary is not there, it makes it a lot harder to do our jobs because they are so good at what they do. So I definitely don't want to talk them down at all. They're very important as well. And then lastly, but still important, are the community, the maintenance personnel, and the alumni. I felt like they were at the bottom of my pyramid because they're not as active in the organization, and they just don't play as vital of a role in its success. Especially for alumni, I think I would have placed them higher had I been in a secondary, like a university setting, or even possibly a high school setting, because I know that the alumni at that level play a very different role. But at the elementary level, we don't have a big alumni. I don't know. Our alumni usually are just still so young, or they are having kids at their school, so then they're more in the role of a parent than alumni. So, and then community, I think it's really important to tie community in as much as you can. But again, they're not as crucial because they aren't a part of the day-to-day learning of the students. And then maintenance personnel, again, very important, but not a daily occurrence that they're needed. So that's why I thought. And that's about it. I hope you enjoyed watching, and I really enjoyed taking this course with all of you. Thanks.